From the very beginning, Maya was the favorite. She was always the golden child. Prettier, smarter, more charming. Growing up, I got used to her taking my clothes, my friends, my ideas. But over time, things went beyond that. She started taking the people I cared about, my boyfriends, my crushes. I remember when I was 16, I had a crush on a guy named Tommy. Maya convinced him to take her to prom instead of me lying to him that I was into someone else. When I was 22, I went to Italy for a study abroad semester in college. While I was away, Maya moved in with my boyfriend, David. She told everyone, including my parents, that she was just helping him through a hard time after his dad died. But sure enough, when I came back there, they were together. Every time she did something sneaky or cruel, my parents would defend her. My mom would say, "She doesn't mean any harm, she just has a strong personality," while my dad would excuse her with, "Maya's still young. She just doesn't think things through." But I knew better. When I was 15, I found one of Maya's diaries. She'd written entries with detailed plans about how to steal my friends and outshine me at everything. She even had entries mocking me, calling me boring, and saying my boyfriends deserved someone better, someone like her. So later when I met Jake, I thought I'd finally found someone different. He felt real. We had met at the small restaurant where I worked while going to nursing school. He was a line cook who dreamed of opening his own place one day. I loved how passionate he was about food and how he laughed off his kitchen disasters. When banks wouldn't give him loans, I offered him my life savings, $23,000, to help him start his dream. He was grateful, or so I thought. I believed he loved me. He saw how Maya behaved at family get-togethers and rolled his eyes when she flirted or said something snarky. He knew her tricks, and I was relieved to finally have someone on my side. Our wedding was planned for a Saturday. 2 days before the big day, we held our rehearsal dinner at the same restaurant where Jake and I had our first real date. It was intimate and warm. 50 close friends, the sound of laughter and champagne popping. My dad gave a beautiful, emotional speech about finding your person and welcomed Jake into our family. Maya sat across from us in her expensive sapphire bridesmaid dress. It cost me $400, and smiled like she had always supported us. She even gave a heartfelt maid of honor speech that made me question every doubt I'd ever had about her. She teared up as she spoke about how I had taught her loyalty and how happy she was for Jake and me. I believed her, even though part of me still felt something wasn't right. She sat right across from Jake that entire night, laughing a little too hard at his jokes, touching his arm when talking about the wedding schedule. Jake whispered to me, "She's being dramatic like always," and I nodded, brushing my gut feelings aside. The next morning, the day before our wedding, I couldn't fall asleep. Figuring it was just nerves, I got up at 5 a.m. and decided to surprise Jake with coffee and bagels. He loved dark roast from the local diner. When I got to his apartment, I unlocked the door like I had hundreds of times before. But this time was different. Walking into his bedroom, I froze. There they were. Jake and Maya in bed together. She was wearing the white honeymoon lingerie I'd picked out just weeks ago. The ring, our engagement ring that he'd saved for by working months of double shifts, was lying next to them on the nightstand. There were champagne glasses, takeout boxes, and Maya's expression when she saw me wasn't even guilt. It was triumph. She didn't even try to pretend she was sorry. "I was going to tell you," she said, as if that made it better. Jake fumbled for an excuse, saying he was confused, saying he still loved me. But then Maya cut him off. She started spilling everything. Jake had apparently realized he chose the wrong sister. She brought up a hotel room in Vegas and whispered conversations during Christmas when Jake had been muttering Maya's name in his sleep. And then she said it. They were going to use my $23,000 to open their restaurant. Without me. They'd even picked out an apartment in Portland. They were going to leave after the wedding and take my money with them. I said nothing. I just walked out. I sat at the beach for 6 hours. It was the same beach where Jake had proposed more than a year ago. I stared at the water, remembering how he had knelt down with shaking hands, and said I was his best friend, that I made him better. That night, I didn't cry. I didn't call off the wedding. I didn't even tell my parents. What I felt wasn't sadness. It was like a cold switch flipped inside me. For the first time in my life, I wasn't going to let Maya win. Not this time. I went home around 11 a.m. and found my mom crying on the phone with the florist trying to cancel arrangements. My dad argued with the caterer over deposits. When they saw me, they expected more tears. Instead, I calmly set my purse down and said, "The wedding is still on tomorrow, just not how anyone thinks." I called my cousin Derek. Tech expert loaned me his entire divorce team once when his ex tried to take him for everything. I explained what happened and asked him a simple favor. I want proof. I want everything documented. Derek, always sharp, asked for Jake's address. He would install hidden cameras in under 2 hours and even offered to clone Jake's phone if we could get physical access. "We'll keep it fully legal," he assured me. Then I called Chelsea, the photographer Maya had insisted we use. I told her I wanted to capture every moment of the day, especially the ones that felt uncomfortable or revealing. She was eager to help, not even knowing the full picture. And she had no idea Maya was planning to humiliate me and catch it all on video. It was only fitting to flip that plan right back on her. The final person I called was Jake's mom, Mrs. Patterson. She had never liked Maya and always said Jake made terrible decisions. When I told her what they'd done, she was horrified. "What can I do to help?" she asked. I only had one request. Make sure Jake shows up at the wedding. "He'll be there," she promised. "I'll personally drag him if I have to." The next morning, I blocked Jake's number, but Maya texted me, pretending to be remorseful. "Can we talk before the wedding?" she wrote. "I never meant for this to happen." I replied, "Of course. I'll see you at the church." She had no idea that her big day was already planned out for her. When I got to the church, everyone was buzzing with anticipation. Maya waited in the dressing suite, still in her blue dress, confused but hopeful. I told her with a friendly smile that since she and Jake were so in love, they should go ahead and get married. That today was her wedding day now. At first, she panicked. She hadn't expected it to go down like this. But in front of 200 guests, turning it down would make her look like the villain. So she agreed, putting on a brave face. Jake stood at the altar, looking sick. The priest informed the crowd of the change. The ceremony started. The guests looked confused, but many were too polite to interrupt. Chelsea, the photographer, captured every second. Jake said, "I do," visibly sweating. Maya hesitated, but whispered, "I do," as well. The kiss they shared was awkward, barely warm. But the real gift came during the reception. Before the cake cutting, I stood up and said I had a little video to share, something to celebrate true love. The room darkened. Then the projector lit up, revealing videos Derek had carefully put together. There they were, Jake and Maya, weeks, even months ago, getting cozy plotting behind my back. They laughed about how easy I was to manipulate. Maya called me pathetic. Jake mocked how I'd never see what was coming. They talked about stealing my money, opening a restaurant together, and never even looking back. You could hear the gasps. The room turned to stone. Jake's mom got up and stormed out. My parents sat frozen. Derek sent a link to everyone in the room, giving them access to the video and screenshots of texts. The footage soon reached the internet. Chelsea, clicking away, captured the exact moment Maya's face dropped, and Jake realized their lives were over. They tried to leave, but I made sure they couldn't just walk away unseen. I'd booked a penthouse honeymoon suite under their names. Non-refundable, fitting. The guests watched them flee, angry and humiliated. The same guests who had once told Jake how lucky he was. the same friends Maya had bragged to that morning. In the days after the wedding, the full video went viral. Jake's restaurant partners backed out after watching it. Maya got fired from her law firm. Their names popped up on gossip blogs and local news. Everywhere they went, their dirty secrets followed. And me? I used my savings, the same savings they planned to steal, to start a consulting business in nursing care. It grew quickly. I traveled. I healed. Months later, Maya sent me a message. I want a divorce. Everyone treats us like trash. Please help me. I'll pay you back. I posted a screenshot and replied with, "What money?" I never gave you any money. The internet response was brutal. 1 year later, Maya and Jake are still married. Neither of them can afford a lawyer to file for divorce. They've moved from state to state, working dead-end jobs under false names. But the video follows them. It always will. As for me, I fell in love, genuinely, with the one person who never betrayed me, Derek. We got close planning everything, and that turned into something real. He proposed by saying, "I fell in love with your courage. We're getting married next spring. All the old vendors are helping for free. Even Mrs. Patterson is walking me down the aisle. Jake and Maya aren't invited, but they can watch the live stream. After all, some lessons take time to learn, and if karma's the teacher well, class is in session.